The Arcturians. Channeled through Suzanne Lee. September 25, 2015.
The Arcturians want me to hear what they say to me, translate it and send it to you. They are showing us how we are to share all that we have learned. This is how the messages are sent out into our expanding reality. First we receive, and then we share. In this manner, we fulfill the assignment that we chose before we took this earth vessel. As we complete what we volunteered to do before we took this form, we will remember how to transmute our consciousness so that we can be fully conscious of our higher frequencies while still wearing our earth vessel. In this manner, all of our 3D issues that once caused us third-dimensional difficulties transmute into their higher dimensional expression. Yes, even our issues are multidimensional. Once we recognize that it is the now to release any old issues, we can send them unconditional love and blaze them with the violet fire. We also realize that these issues are myriad thought forms, memories, smells and pictures that have been stored in our unconscious mind. When we move into our readiness to release our issues, they start popping up in our daily life. It is then that we become conscious of that which has held us back from being our purest expression of self. The issues are actually memories of ourself. Some of these memories are from this reality and some of them are from other realities. Either way, they are all being revealed now because we have volunteered to move our consciousness perception of self into our fifth-dimensional consciousness. The process of moving into our fifth-dimensional consciousness is much like jumping on a trampoline. At first, can't jump very high. But as we build a momentum, we go up a little bit higher, down lower, up higher, and then down lower. In this way, we go higher into higher states of consciousness to have these wonderful experiences. But then, when we come back down to our baseline consciousness, it is lower because we have expanded our perceptual range. By moving up into our fourth, fifth-dimensional self, we are remembering and perceiving our third and fourth dimensional selves from a higher perspective. From this higher and more detached perspective, we are viewing all our physical incarnations as parallel, alternate, and simultaneous realities in this, or in other timelines. From our higher perspective, we can also observe all the energy fields that we have left on Earth that are still floating around Gaia's third and fourth dimensional habitat areas. From this higher perspective we can also observe how our thoughts and emotions have a lot of power. We are all pretty clear that our consciousness is expanding because we are perceiving reality in a different fashion than we ever have in any incarnation, no matter how many lives we've taken in a 3D Earth vessel. Therefore, we know that something unique is happening in this now. Those of us that are the first ones to realize that this life is very unique and special are the ones who volunteered to be the awakeners. We volunteered to awaken as many other people as we could. We chose to serve much like the prince in Sleeping Beauty in that we send our kiss of unconditional love to others. Because we have experienced the kiss of love, from our own higher self, our physical self is able to move beyond the concept of third, fourth dimension and into frequency where there is no gap between here and there, and no gap between heaven and earth, you and me, or person and planet. Where there is no gap in between there is no separation. Since we know there is no separation, we know that there is no life or death. There is only creation. Realizing our own great power of creation is where our greatest responsibility comes in. What if we all knew that we really did create every part of our life? How would our lives change? Would we unconditionally love our creations, or would we judge them? To make sure that we do not judge ourselves, we must remember to give ourselves unconditional love and violet fire. That is, we say to ourselves, I unconditionally love myself, and I bask in the glory of the violet fire. With this continual message to ourselves, we will be able to remember that every memory offers us the opportunity to transmute our life, our reality, and all our creations. Every moment we have a chance to transmute all the fearful, angry, lost, and/or sad thought forms that we have ever put out in all of our incarnations. These incarnations could be in our third and/or fourth dimension. But, before we can fully remember ourself, we must remember how we, as our multidimensional self, volunteered to take an earth vessel to assist Mother Gaia. With this realization, our consciousness increasingly expands into the fifth dimension where there is no separation and no judgment. In the fifth dimension there isn't even any judgment about whether this was a good or this was a bad life. From our higher perspective, we are aware that all our 3D lives are holograms that we created, we played, we lost, or we won. It is the now for us to love ourselves for playing this hologram, realize all that we have earned and say, okay, we're going home now. That was an interesting hologram. However, this is the most important part of our journey home.